So I'm Frances Babbage and I'm in the School of English, but I work in the theatre section of the School of English. And my work is on contemporary drama and theatre, and particularly adaptation and rewriting. So I published a book a few years ago called Revisioning Myth, which was about feminist drama and rewriting of myth in the European theatre. And I'm currently working on a book about adaptation from literature to performance, so about rewriting again, but this time from more of a formal perspective. In terms of my work on the Gothic, I'm currently researching and writing a chapter on adaptations of Angela Carter's fiction for the stage. That's for an edited collection by Palgrave on contemporary Gothic drama. So this collection is on post-Victorian Gothic performance, and it'll cover all kinds of different interpretations of the Gothic. So there will be chapters like mine on adaptations of Gothic fiction for performance, but also Gothic dance and Gothic and multimedia. And so I'm writing on Angela Carter. And the reason I was very keen to write on this for this particular collection is that I've seen quite a few stage adaptations of Angela Carter's writing, but I've quite often been disappointed by them. And I think that that's partly because sometimes it seems like it's very easy to reproduce the external characteristics of a Gothic fiction. So to perform the landscape of the Gothic, to represent it, but it's much harder to reproduce the effect of unease and uncertainty that is also very characteristic of Gothic fiction. And so in the chapter I'm writing, I'm looking at a number of experimental projects which are trying to find different ways to address that problem. So, for instance, I'm writing about a stage version of The Bloody Chamber from the late 1990s that was first performed in the Dungeon Vaults in Edinburgh and then at the London Dungeons as well. And also, much more recently, an adaptation not for the stage but an outdoor site-specific performance of The Company of Wolves, where the spectators, well, that's probably the wrong word, the audience participate as a walker or a runner, and this was by the company Burn the Curtain, and you spent several hours really running through the woods at night. And so projects like that seem to me to be finding a very different kind of way, not to reproduce and reenact elements of the Gothic, but instead to pass some of that experience of uncertainty and even anxiety at times onto the experience of the audience themselves. Why should we study the Gothic? Because the Gothic is about teaching us to see the world differently. It's about having your uncertainties challenged and being forced to see the world in a new way, and that's something that we all need to be able to do. I don't know if it's my favourite Gothic work, but to stick with the Angela Carter theme, I know not all her writing could properly be categorised as Gothic, but some of it is, and one that I've got a particular fondness for is her early novel, The Magic Toy Shop. And that's a blend of all sorts of genres, of fairy tale, of coming of age, fiction, of kind of fantasy, magic realism, but definitely also threads of the Gothic running through it. So there's a moment where the protagonist, Melanie, suddenly, inexplicably, opens a cutlery drawer and finds inside it the severed hand of a child, and the drawer's shut and it's not explained, and she opens it again and it isn't there. That's the kind of jolt to what the world as you think you know it, that is why we should study the Gothic. So I'd encourage people to look out for Palgrave's Contemporary Gothic Drama collection when that comes out, which will be sometime in 2017. As well as that, I'm really looking forward to seeing the film by Matteo Garrone, The Tale of Tales, which I think definitely is Gothic in its anti-rationalist, anti-enlightenment attitude. So it's a reworking of Renaissance folk tales with, it sounds like, I've not yet seen it, but a lot of magic, a lot of sex, a lot of cruelty and a lot of uncertainty.